You too as well. Thank you.
Susan Hanson.
Are the missing legislators coming back?
They will at some point, but you can go ahead with your remarks, please.
Well, I'd like to have as many here as possible before I begin.
Well, yeah. I mean, your time is going to start running, so I would suggest you start now.
I don't even think you have a quorum.
Oh, ma'am, your time is running. I would ask you to make your remarks, please.
Okay, well, I would ask my time to begin from the beginning.
It's running, so start.
Can you please reset the clock?
No. I'll tell you what. Well, I'll give you a little extra time at the end, but
It's only going to take 3 minutes. I've timed myself. But I do want to make a point to say everything that I have on my paper.
ma'am, would you go ahead and speak, and then we'll...
Okay, thank you. I am here to bring to your attention an issue which directly impacts Nassau and all counties in the state of New York, and quite frankly, the country. A group known as New York Citizens Audit has obtained voter registration and election data from the New York State Board of Elections via the Freedom of Information Act. They have done extensive analysis on this data and have uncovered what appears to be very significant and troubling anomalies. Your counterparts in Suffolk County, as well as other New York State, county, and town government officials, have been notified. The response has been mixed, but as of today, no meaningful measures have been taken to address concerns. The following statements are my own and are based on my understanding on what has been uncovered. There is one basic, glaring, fundamental, and irrefutable problem that would render New York State elections uncertifiable. The law requires that one, let me repeat, one state voter registration record be maintained for a legally registered voter. The reality is that multiple records can and do exist for many voters. This is a violation of election law. It should be noted that a status associated with these records can be active, inactive, or purged. That may appear to be a technicality to some and not necessarily a violation of the law, but let me assure you, maintaining multiple records with different statuses is not the same as maintaining one record that is legitimate. Particularly when multiple records for the same registered voter can contain voting history that may or may not match, particularly when you cannot verify that only one record was used to count a legitimate vote, particularly when you cannot examine the source code of how the votes were totaled because the code is considered proprietary, particularly when voting machine software can be updated just prior to elections that may or may not contain logic changes, particularly when the New York State Board of Elections co-executive director, Kristen Zabrowski-Stravinsky, has notified all county board commissioners and directors, and without naming names directly, claimed that the New York Citizens Audit information is baseless and a distortion of the truth, without contacting the group directly. I would urge all New York residents, and this legislative board in particular, having oversight of the county Board of Elections, to go to the website auditny.com and evaluate the findings yourself. And please contact the founder, Marley Hornick, for further details. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Mita J. Meriday.
Presiding Officer, just as Ms. Meriday approaches, I just want to make sure and remind the public that though you may see members of the legislature vacant from their seats, sometimes they get called away to speak to our legal staffs or financial staffs. There are microphones and there are speakers in the background, in the back caucus rooms, where they can hear every single word that is being said on the floor. So they are not missing your comments just because they're not physically present in their seat. it's possible something that's coming up on the legislative calendar, which many a times I get pulled away, that's something that's come up on the calendar where someone needs to speak to me before that item is voted on. So I just want to remind the public that there are speakers in both caucus rooms where your comments, as well as any comments that are being made, are basically publicized there as well, or they're heard there as well. Thank you.